She's withering. I can see it. Maybe he'll pull through, but it's not likely. What had happened in 24 hours? How had two full-of-life babies been thrust into the darkness overnight? Was it something I had done? Babies. It's weird to say it that way now, huh? It had only been 15 years for the boy and 21 years for the girl, and they were still seen as babies in my mind. It had only been 15 years of memories for me to keep. I wasn't old enough to remember much of Casey. I hugged Chum. I guess it felt better for me to say goodbye to a childhood friend with a hug and a kiss, rather than having to draw it out. It felt like just yesterday he was a shepherd in the fields of Rogers, Arkansas. Would he have lasted longer if we had stayed? It was hard to tell, seeing as it had been 8 years. I can't stop the tears from falling as I give him an extra long kiss before he is gone forever. Girls! I said don't go out past the Macy's house! A blur of white, black, and brown goes tearing past Mummy as she gives up trying to bring her girls home and goes back inside. Kayla, wait for me! Don't leave me behind! I only have 2 legs! I struggled with my training wheels as my sisters raced ahead. But suddenly they were turning around and heading home. We had already planned to go all the way to the neighborhood sign. I see Jem racing round us in a giant circle, a shepherd dog bringing the sheep in for dinner. A smile like a ray of sun bursts onto my face, and a laugh escapes my mouth. We start zigzagging around him, and he begins to bark at our bikes like he can scare them back into place. Kayla races ahead, and I lean into my bike, wishing I could ride as fast as her. Chum lags behind me, waiting for the slow one of the pack to catch up to the others. I love it when he stays by me. His presence makes me feel safe on a wobbly bike. I make another loop around Andrea's house, giggling the whole time as my buddy continues, in vain, to bring me home all by himself. I turn my head as I hear the garage door closing. Chum's ears perk up as well. Okay, I'm coming. Hold your horses. All right, Chum, I'll race you. Last one to the house is a rotten egg. Suddenly, the training wheels unscrew, and I lose my balance and begin to fall. Chum continues to run, completely oblivious that his competitor had fallen. The tears begin to gush, and the laughing turns to screaming as I crash into the patch of gravel. Chum is on the scene faster than an EMS at a car accident. I pull him close and bury my face in his fur and continue to cry. He starts to lick my wound when Mummy comes bursting out the front door, still in her apron from cooking dinner. I knew it! I knew something bad was going to happen when we got your training wheels from Walmart. You okay, Putty? She nudges Chum out of the way as she collects me in her arms and begins to walk to the house. Chum follows loyally behind her. I smile as I recall the bittersweet memories that enveloped my childhood with Chum at the head. What I wouldn't give for another bike ride with him. Once we moved to Kentucky, there were other things to do, different games to play, and harder school to deal with, so I wasn't able to have my races with my buddy as much. I pick up his discarded bandana that was lying in the middle of the living room. The tears begin to fall as hard as they did the day I fell off my bike 10 years before. I can still see his ears perking up every season as we carefully chose his bandana. He had the perfect face for this kind of happiness. My bandana boy. What had happened to my innocent bandana boy? After only 10 short years, why was his face so white, his breathing so shallow? Mummy, can we change Chum's bandana yet? It's after Thanksgiving. I run into my mom's room in a velvet dress and shiny Mary Janes. I grab the bandana on the shelf with the elves helping Santa load his sleigh. I run back out, almost tripping over Chum in the process. Can we finish Thanksgiving dinner first? Rob's here. Don't you want to spend time with your godfather? I drop the bandana against my hip with a defeated look. But it'll just take a second. I flash Mummy the best puppy dog eyes I've ever made. Oh, all right, but next year you wait until after dinner to bring me his new bandana. My smile reaches my studded ears as my mom whistles Chum's special whistle, and he comes trotting over. She takes off the gobbling turkey bandana, swaps it for Santa and his elf, and pecks the top of his head before returning to her turkey. I grab Chum by the collar and run with him to the living room and grab his Santa puppy. I am a tumbleweed on the living room floor as I wrestle with my best friend. From the dining room I hear a warning not to ruin my dress. I jump up and race out the door as I return to dinner with my family. Chum trailing behind me and sitting at my feet under the table. I hold his bandana to my face. 11 years have gone by and my Mary Janes don't fit anymore. I find myself wishing for childhood again, changing his bandana with such excitement. I couldn't remember a time when he wasn't there with me, always by my side and coming to my aid when necessary. I was 9 months old when we brought Chum home. It must have been a complete shock for the poor thing. I can only imagine what he was thinking, a pup meeting his forever family. I think the barking is getting louder as the days tick by. Every day is the same thing. I sit in my corner, I sleep, or at least I try to sleep. At 8 a.m., noon, and 6:30 p.m., Blonde Girl brings food. She always puts a little treat in there. I love her for it, and I secretly wish she would bring me home with her one day. But, sadly, I know she can't. It seems I'm going to stay here my whole life, however short that may turn out to be. So, for the past couple of days, I've been leaving food in its bowl by the chicken wire holding me in. Maybe the barking will get quieter. Maybe I can finally leave this place once and for all. What family would want a malnourished rat of a dog like me? I can hear them, deciding my fate and the fate of those around me. No one lasted very long here, and soon I, too, would be herded into the waiting van and whisked away to the vet. My final car ride, so to speak. I don't want that. I don't want to stay here anymore, but I don't want to die under a needle. Here she comes. There's only one bowl by the door, so it must be noon. As she kneels down, she gives me a look of pity. I muster up the strength to get up and walk toward her hesitantly. She reaches her hand through the bars of my prison and pets me. Please eat, bud. Don't leave me alone with these loud monsters. Her gentle laugh calms me, and I lay down for her to scratch my belly, but she turns and walks away. It's been 9 bowls of food since Blonde Girl came and scratched me. Families have been in and out of here constantly, and sometimes I even see my neighbors leave me. It's not long before they bring a new stray in to fill their spot. I don't know what I'm going to do if I don't get picked. I lift my head up as a new family comes in, hope filling me for a moment, but I quickly squash it. I put my head back down, trying to catch a few minutes of sleep. Suddenly, the light grows dim in my cage. I open my eyes. The family is standing at the door, looking in with happy faces. I faintly hear, "We'll take him," as a little blonde head pokes up from a pink stroller. She smiles at me, and I feel forever begin. As my parents say their goodbyes to the dog they chose over the cacophonous barking that fateful April day 15 years before, my sister brings Casey down and sets her in my arms. I couldn't believe I was losing 2 childhood friends today. What kind of cruel fate was this? We would be burying 2 family members. That's what they were. Not pets, not animals that were help on a farm. They were family members with a stocking at Christmas. Oh, God. The stockings. What was it going to be like on December 25th when we had to fold away their stockings and forget? I try to forget about this. I look down at Casey. Wasn't it yesterday when we were pushing her in a baby stroller, pretending we were her mothers? She sure put up with a lot. Come on, Emily. You can be the dad and I'll be the mom. I grab the handles of the Fisher-Price stroller from my sister and trot down the hallway. Wait, why do you always get to be the mom? I'm a girl too. Mummy, Ashley's hugging the stroller. I run to the closet in our room and hide behind the matching clothes. Casey looked up at me, meowing. It's okay, Casey. She can't find us in here. I let out a scream straight out of a horror movie and a giggle as Emily throws open the closet doors and grabs the stroller. Casey wiggles out of her confines and tears down the hall. She skirts around Kayla and the markers she is coloring with, remembering being held down in colored blue when she was just a year old. I turn my head and see a mirror image of myself and my sister's faces. I can't bear to see them cry. I don't know what I expected. Of course they were bound to die eventually. Well, that was the downfall of pets, I guess. No way out of it. I sniffle a goodbye as the cat that was always in the picture of my childhood laid in front of me, already gone. Smile! Wait, don't choke the poor thing. Just hold her normally. But, Mommy, she's growling. Make her stop. My tiny arms form a makeshift prison for the struggling cat as my mother tried to take a picture of me and Casey. This was the moment I had been waiting for the first 5 years of my life. And she was ruining it for me. Kayla got one, Emily got one, so why was Casey acting this way with me? On our 5th birthday, we got a picture with our beloved pet, and it was transferred onto a cake for our birthday party. We loved it, but Casey wasn't too thrilled about it. Okay, one last time because I think that's all Casey can handle. Who's got the cat? My dad yells this from his place in the living room, worried the cat is being mistreated. Casey lets out another heart-wrenching meow, and my mom scoops her out of my arms and looks her in the eye, scolds her for her bad attitude, and lets her go. I begin to well up, ready to throw one of my world-famous tantrums, but my mom shows me her camera. See? We got it. We'll bring it to Walmart and get it on the cake faster than you can say happy birthday, all right? I laughed through my tears, remembering how feisty Casey was. Till the day she died, she was a fighter. So was Chum. Yesterday, you wouldn't have been able to tell that a month ago he had a cancerous tumor. He was playful, barking, bouncing, happy. Then today, he had looked at me with such sympathy. How could a dog express so much? But he did. He apologized for something that wasn't even his fault, for giving up, for not eating, for sitting there and having us have to say goodbye. October 10th used to just be another normal day, but in 2012, that all changed, and it will always be a time to reflect on the good memories. I just have to try and forget the wink he gave me as he laid on the ground, leaving me. He promised not to leave me until I was ready. I wasn't ready. It's been 3,234,571 bowls of food since Blonde Girl scratched me. Now I have a new Blonde Girl, but now I have to say goodbye. I've watched her grow. I've laughed with her. I've cried with her. I've been there. Now, she's here for me. For the past couple of days, I've left food in my bowl. Brown Dog has eaten the majority of it, but I don't mind. I know it's time. My last car ride, so to speak. They're putting me under the needle, but it's okay now. They've fought for me. They've loved me. They wouldn't be doing this unless it was absolutely necessary, unless they thought it was best for me. Blonde Girl is crying a lot now. She keeps telling me how much she'll miss me and how her life would have been completely different if I wasn't there. She thanks me. She shouldn't be thanking me. I should be thanking her. I wink at her to get my message across, but it only makes her cry harder. I take one last look around my home and see my family, my true family. Who would have thought a malnourished rat of a dog like me would find this family? I owe my life to them. I hear the door of the car close, and I know it's the end of forever. Goodbye, world. Goodbye, Blonde Girl. Be good. I love you.